right, so we're just making dinner, and I thought this might be an interesting venue to explain the difference between like car camping, camping, hiking, through hiking, backpacking, how it affects what you buy and own, how it affects the brands or how the brands affect it, and maybe just help you navigate the outdoor world a little bit if you're new to it. So generally, when we say hiking, we're referring to walking through the woods without the intention to stay out in the woods. As soon as you add the intention to stay out in the woods, we call it backpacking. Someone once said that backpacking is hiking and camping combined, because camping is essentially sleeping outdoors. But there's a big difference between car camping, where your car and cooler and blankets are right next to the tent, versus hiking in a mile and then sleeping. Or like a through hiker is going to try and do 15 to 20 miles a day and then sleep. And so that all those factors affect what kind of equipment is purchased and used. And so I just have an assortment here that I thought might be worth sort of explaining. So on the far end of the spectrum, you have this, which is kind of an everyday use item. You might bring a thermos of coffee to work or something like that. And it's robust and it's heavy and it can withstand the scrapes and drops that it might be outdoors. But because it's stainless steel and because it's double walled, it's extremely heavy. So no backpacker would ever consider bringing this. This is also stainless steel. I would say that for many car campers, this is not luxurious enough. It's too simple. They want something more sophisticated. But backpackers would consider this far too heavy. And so this is kind of like a, maybe like a day hike sort of item, or like a lightweight car camper's item. This is pure backpacking. Evernew mostly makes titanium stuff, and this is by Trail Designs, which you may have heard me talk about before. And this is like through hiker type of stuff, where the ultimate priority is weight and space, and they'll pay a top dollar for the titanium. They'll pay a top dollar to save an ounce or so, and they'll also put up with really sort of flimsy, thin, delicate, fragile, tedious, clumsy mechanisms in order to save weight and all of those things. What you'll also find with through hikers is they will choose from categories that aren't found at REI at all. As an example, this little cup from IKEA, a through hiker might take because it's very light and it's very cheap. Same thing with smart water bottles. Like almost everyone on the Appalachian Trail has a water bottle like this or the smaller version. And they only cost a couple of dollars, and they won't sell them to you at REI because the profits are too thin. But this is the kind of thing you find through hikers doing. Also, a simple plastic spoon, GSI through hiker will like cut this in half and just carry just basically the bowl and a little bit to hold on to. One thing that you'll find in the backpacking space is a lot of use of titanium. Some of it is really well suited, I think, like for pots, because aluminum is quite a bit more fragile. Some of it is ill suited, I think, like for spoons. I think a heavy spoon and a light spoon are not that different, whereas a heavy pot and a light pot, there's quite a bit of cost savings. I think they trick and kind of get you to buy titanium because it's this amazing material. Problem with titanium, aside from it being very expensive, is it's not nice to hold when it's cold because it sucks the heat out of your hand. It's not that nice to eat food off of because it's metal. Again, especially when it's really hot or really cold. So I prefer plastic. And then even something, this is a full-size Bic, but the mini Bics are what a lot of backpackers will take. Even though REI sells, a butane, windproof, weatherproof torch, which costs, $40 or something like that. Those are the kind of things you don't really see backpackers really carrying. Backpackers are interested in something that's light, compressible, nestable, typically inexpensive, and for through hikers, something that can be sort of serviced or replaced along the road, which is why alcohol stoves are so common, because they can be replaced or refilled with alcohol. You don't need the propane or butane canisters. So one of the things that's deceiving is if you're looking in a camping section, you might see something made out of stainless steel and it's called lightweight or compact. And yet a backpacker would say it's heavy and humongous. So you kind of have to have a certain level of understanding of this context of camping, hiking, and backpacking in order to navigate those worlds a little bit. I certainly would not say that backpacking equipment is superior. It's quite a bit more delicate and fragile. Oftentimes it's slower, like boiling times, because they care about conserving fuel and being able to carry the smallest amount of fuel with you into the backcountry. So you really have to think about what you're doing, how much of it you're going to be doing, how much sort of fuss you're willing to put up with, and how much weight you're willing to carry. On this trip, we haven't done any backpacking. We've never carried our sleeping bags on our back to a destination, but we've done like what I would call lightweight car camping. The easiest example of that is the Trangia. Most people would have a big Coleman 2-burner stove running on propane. That's your classic, convenient, like home car camping stove. That is more for maybe like a day hike. Some might take that backpacking, although no one who's trying to do 10 to 15 miles a day would take that backpacking, I think. But it works great for, base camp camping, car camping, but not the luxurious type. So yeah, I don't know, maybe that's helpful for you all. I would encourage you to think outside of REI. IKEA, believe it or not, can be a source for some really inexpensive lightweight stuff. The gas station for water bottles, and then cottage brands like Trail Designs. They don't sell in any retailer, they just sell from their website. So like Z-Packs, Gossamer Gear, Mountain Laurel Designs, Trail Designs. These are all companies that you'll never see in REI, but are making basically top shelf, best in class backpacking stuff. So yeah, hopefully that helps you a little bit if you're planning a trip and you're buying equipment. And I don't have anything against REI. I just see how sometimes REI's desire to sell you something with big profit margins influences their selection. That's why you don't see alcohol stoves there. That's why you see a lot of butane canister stoves. And so they have their place, their products have their place, but you're also kind of a bit of a narrow view if you only buy from REI. So think outside the box, and hopefully this helps you do so. Take care.